guys, those are Communications, and welcome to my rant on RoboCop. More like, well, this clip right here from an actual interview overseas explains it a lot better than I could ever do. So, roll that footage.
Men sen så kom Snabba Cash och blev så stor där, och då var ju det förstås en jättestor extra skjuts.
Och nu går du in i RoboCock.
Nej, inte RoboCock, det är porrfilmsversionen.
RoboCock. No, it's not RoboCock. That's the porno version. Yeah, no, it is. It's fucking RoboCock. It's a big throbbing RoboCock shoved right up your fucking ass for an hour and 48 minutes. Because that's exactly how it felt. Like I was getting fucked up the ass for an hour and 45 minutes. Because it was literally some of the... I would say that this is the worst theatrical experience I've ever had. And I saw this in the IMAX theater. Okay? This is worse than Evil Dead remake. Evil Dead fuck remake where the camera, where the picture quality was all fucked up and shit. This is worse. Because even in IMAX, all it did is just, show me in high definition, one of the worst fucking movies I've ever had the pleasure of seeing in the theater. Or displeasure, so to speak. Literally. I hated this goddamn movie. I hated this goddamn movie. I would say definitely worse than Grudge Match. As much as I raged on Grudge Match, and as shitty as Grudge Match is, I'd rather watch that than this fucking movie. Okay? Than this fucking bullfuck, motherfucking cock-sucking piece of shit. Because RoboCop is my all-time favorite character created for film. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. And this just takes a hard fucking piss on the character. At least in my opinion. In my opinion, that's what it does. It castrates RoboCop again, which happened way back in '93 with RoboCop 3, and continued with the TV series and the cartoons and Alpha Commando with his fucking rollerblades popping out of his feet, and parachutes blowing out of his ass and shit, turning RoboCop into fucking Inspector Gadget. And then you had the Prime Directives miniseries, which at least in that one you shot people, and it wasn't fucking shaky cam, and as inconsistent and as, basically lame as that miniseries was, and overlong, I'd rather watch that than this fucking shit as well. And I might even rather watch Alpha Commando, because Alpha Commando at least makes me laugh at how ridiculous it fucking is, with RoboCop dressing up as a fucking snowman in one episode, and fighting a goddamn dragon. At least you can laugh at that. This, yeah, I laughed at it, but unintentionally. I was not laughing with it. I was laughing at it. Because this movie was a fucking joke. It was pathetic. It was a waste of fucking time. It was a waste of my motherfucking time. It was a waste of people's time and money. It was a waste of $130 million. Because honestly, it did not look like a $130 million movie to me. The effects weren't terrible. No, they were good for a $130 million budget. But they were not spectacular either. In my opinion, they look like something I would see in like a $60 million film. Like, remember Dredd? Which is a 10 times better film than this piece of shit. And a proper, like, that's the reboot to RoboCop. Dredd. There were moments in this film where, like, when RoboCop's riding around on his motorcycle, I thought of Dredd. It was like, I'd rather watch Dredd. Please, I'd rather fucking watch Dredd. Can I watch Dredd right now instead of this shit? Instead of this boring, listless, lackluster, lazy-ass fucking bullshit? So, anyway, yeah. So, Dredd. That's the real RoboCop reboot. This, fuck that, fuck this. This is a fucking poser. Fucking poser cop. Fucking rubber cop, rubber dildo, iron bat cop, Knight Rider on an anthropomorphic fucking Knight Rider. Yeah, this movie, and you're like, well, people are like, well, you never gave it a chance to begin with. You know what? I lowered my expectations as low as I could possibly lower them. To the fucking bottom of the fucking barrel for this movie. I paid $6 extra on top of my free premiere ticket to go see this film in IMAX in the highest definition possible with the best sound and picture quality. So I lowered my expectations as low as I could possibly lower them. But this movie went even below those for me. I didn't think it was possible for this film to be as fucking truly terrible as it was, personally, for me. Honestly, I'd like I said, rather watch Alpha Commando, rather watch out RoboCop 3. I'd say the TV series is better than this. Because Richard Eaton is 10 times better RoboCop than Joel Kinnaman. And I understand that there's some RoboCop fans out there. There's fans on the RoboCop archive site who enjoy the movie. And that's cool. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. If you liked the film, if you enjoyed it, if you're a RoboCop fan and you enjoyed it and liked it, cool. And you want to add it to your collection later, fine. Me? This fucking movie is not getting anywhere near my collection. Not anywhere fucking near it. Not gonna happen. I'm not buying this movie on DVD. Ever. On Blu-ray. Ever. It's never touching my hands. I'm never even going to touch a copy of this film when it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm afraid it'll give me a fucking STD. So, anyway. So, yeah. Like it? Cool. Be my guest. You know, I never had a problem with people liking things, you know, that I don't like. But I definitely do not like this movie. So anyway, before I get into full-on rant and review, let's do a little backstory on the film. Now, originally, the first time that RoboCop was considered being rebooted and remade was with Darren Aronofsky, and he was going to do his vision of the film. And that was before MGM was filed for bankruptcy and was stuck in, you know, basically out of business for a couple years. And then they didn't get brought back until Sony bought them out. And that's when you saw films like Cabin in the Woods, where I think is overrated and is a piece of shit as well. Just like this movie. So they basically, you know, that when they got bought out, they released stuff like Cabin in the Woods. And the reason why Darren Aronofsky's RoboCop didn't come to play is partly because of MGM's bankruptcy. And Aronofsky wanted to make RoboCop, he wanted to take an organic approach, which I'm kind of like, what, like Videodrome? What? And but he definitely wanted it to be rated R. And the more and more I think back at that premise, as much as I'm not really the biggest fan of Aronofsky's films, I know he's a great director. He knows how to set up his shots brilliantly. His visual style is really, really beautiful to watch. There's some really beautiful shots in Requiem for a Dream, and that's a depressing movie, but it's, you know, well directed. And to be honest, I'm curious. I'm really now, after seeing this reboot, this pacified, PC, pussified fucking remake, I'm more curious to see what Darren Aronofsky had to say about RoboCop. What his vision of RoboCop would have been. Might not have been great, but it would have been R. It wouldn't have been some pussified bullshit. You know, would have taken some chances, and it would have been interesting to see. Because no offense to Jose Padillha, Darren Aronofsky's 10 times the director that he will ever be. So, yeah. So that's how the project originally originated as. Was as a reboot with Darren Aronofsky. And much like Aronofsky's Batman Year One, never came to be. So, after that fell through, MGM got, you know, bought out, saved by Sony. You know, they were thinking about bringing back the project. And then I remember hearing that, you know, it was in development hell and it got shut down. And I was really happy. I was like, yes, we don't need a RoboCop remake. We already had a Nightmare on Elm Street remake and a Halloween remake. We don't need a RoboCop remake. And before you say something like, it's nostalgia that you're pissed off because you're nostalgic for the original movie and that you won't give this new one a chance, I mean, that's bullshit, because I like My Bloody Valentine, the remake. I saw that in the theater with my dad, and I had a really good time, and I still enjoy that movie. And I still really like the original My Bloody Valentine. I like the Friday the 13th reboot in 2009. I like the Last House on the Left remake more than the original film. So that's bullshit. It's not nostalgia. It's, it's because everything I saw that regarded this film did not interest me. Did not do anything to make me excited. Did not do anything to make me be like, oh my god, this is going to be the best movie ever. Nothing like that. To be honest, even with Dredd, when I first saw the trailer, I wasn't impressed until I saw the Red Band trailer and was like, shit, I gotta go see this movie. This didn't even give me that, because it's not rated R. And you're like, well, that's not a very good criticism. It's not rated R. I mean, you can get away with a lot of things with PG-13. Oh yeah, like Joel Kinnaman, who thought that The Dark Knight was rated R. Yeah, bringing up The Dark Knight as an example of you can do a lot of things with PG-13 is a bullshit example. Because I swear to God, people who do that have not seen that many fucking action movies. If they're thinking that The Dark Knight is one of the greatest action movies of all time, and that The Dark Knight is a movie that you can use as an example of how to make R-rated type movies with a PG-13 rating. Because there's not that much action in The Dark Knight. And I like The Dark Knight now. But it's not that action-packed. Just like this movie. It's a lot of fucking exposition and talking. So, and the action sequences that are there, I've seen better. The Dark Knight is not some revolutionary masterpiece. I like the movie, but it's not that fucking good. So, yeah, Joel Kinnaman, yeah. I ranted on that before, my friend. It's true. He thought that The Dark Knight was rated R. And like my friend said before, if you think that way, no offense, man. No, actually, offense intended here. You're a fucking moron. If you think that The Dark Knight is rated R, you're a fucking moron. So Joel Kinnaman, be like Biff in Back to the Future, be like, hello? Hello, is there anybody in there? Because that's not the only time that Joel Kinnaman acted like a total idiot. In a recent interview, for like Clever Movies or some shit or whatever, something on YouTube, this Porter lady's interviewing Joel Kinnaman, and she's telling him like some game that she came up with called "I Buy That for $1." She brings up options for Joel Kinnaman, and one of them is the Oregon Trail game that I remember playing, as a kid. And she tells him about the Oregon Trail, and he's like, I don't know what that is. What is that? When I heard that, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Are you fucking serious? You don't know what the Oregon Trail is? I know you're from Sweden, or, Sweden, with the Swedish chef. But, god damn it, man, you gotta know what the fuck the Oregon Trail is. Shit. So, and then also in that same interview, he admitted that he's a sellout. So this guy, Joel Kinnaman's admitted he's a sellout, doesn't know what an R-rated movie is, doesn't know that the Oregon Trail, doesn't know what the Oregon Trail is. And when you first heard this guy, when you get all the casting for this new remake, of course, when I first heard that the remake is back online and screenplay, I was like, oh, fucking great, really wonderful. And then I see, articles about the leaked script, talking about shit where they're, oh, look, picture of the original suit. Oh, that looks like a kid's toy. A toy from the 80s. Get rid of that shit. And I'm like, oh. And I guarantee that was in the original screenplay. And that would have been shot for this film if it wasn't the firestorm on the internet didn't start regarding that fucking disrespectful line of dialogue. As you can tell in a scene in this movie where you see what looks like the original suit, you can tell that they changed that line up to be respectful to the original movie. And in my opinion, too little, too fucking late. Because the fact that you greenlit that fucking script, the fact that you looked at that script with that line of dialogue, which just basically bitch slaps the original film and the fans of the original movie, shows how much you gave a shit about this character. How much you cared about RoboCop. You are only using this name and this character for money. That's it. To make some quick fucking cash. And that's why, hope to God, this movie flops. And right now, it's not doing that great. $40 million box office and $130 million budget. Not very good. It's only made $11 million over the span of 3 days so far by the time that I'm doing this rant. $11 million on a $130 million budget. And I mean, that's not counting the overseas stuff, okay? Alright. But in the US alone, which is where most of the money is made for the studio, $11 million. It got beat out by Endless Love. It got beat out by About Last Night by about $6 million. And it got beat out by the Lego Movie by another $6 million. And I know the weekend isn't over yet. But I have a feeling that this movie is still not going to do that great. And of course, studios are blaming it on the weather. Like, blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. More like blame it on the snow. Blame it on the snow. Yeah, yeah. Instead of blaming it on yourself for spending $130 million, which is more than it cost to make all 3 RoboCop movies, the original first 3 RoboCop movies, the cartoon series, the live-action TV series, the Prime Directives miniseries, then all the comics, all that it cost to, publish the comics that were made, then guaranteed pretty much all of the merchandising that was made for this character. So everything that you can remotely have made regarding RoboCop probably did not cost total $130 million. And if it did, I'm just saying at least the films and the cartoons, the live-action series, and the Prime Directives miniseries did not, as a total, cost $130 million. And this isn't really a successful franchise. This is a franchise where only the first film was really, really super successful. The second movie, as much as I like the film, and I think it's really underrated, was not a hit. So the third movie was a flop, notorious flop. The TV series lasted 1 season and barely got anybody watching it. The Alpha Commando cartoon was a joke, lasted 1 season. Prime Directives, there you have that. That didn't light the ratings on fire. Didn't get a TV series for Sci-Fi Channel. So you're resurrecting a franchise that was never that successful to begin with. How much fucking sense does that make? We're like, well, they're giving it another chance that it would have had. They didn't do it. I mean, I'm just serious. How much fucking sense does that make to resurrect a franchise that wasn't that successful to begin with? With stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I can understand because those were successful franchises, and they were still successful franchises by the time they were they were getting remade. RoboCop never was. It was a franchise. It was a series that was turned into a franchise when it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have been turned into a franchise because it was a character and a series of films, at least the first 2, that were not franchisable. They were non-PC. They were destroying PC conventions. They were violent as fuck. They were basically giving Hollywood a big fucking middle finger half the time with their approaches to their films. The second movie, non-PC, we're going to have kids being drug dealers and kids robbing banks and being, with violent force. The first movie, we're going to be basically absolutely destroying, the whole corporate America. We're going to be like satirizing it to the T. And we're going to make them the bad guys. They have the same sort of thing here with the bad guys, Omnicorp being the villains in this movie, but it's so fucking generic. So you take a series of films, at least the first movie and the second movie at some points, and you just make it. It already was generic. It already was fucking pussyfied. It already was pacified. It already was, turned into PC, politically correct, repackaged, retooled for the children, for all ages. That already happened, and it didn't fucking work. So why the fuck that they did it again? Just pisses me off. It's fucking pointless. If you were gonna make a reboot or remake a RoboCop, then you should have brought it back to its R-rated roots instead of keeping him in the goddamn motherfucking kiddie pool with the fucking kids wearing a goddamn fucking inflatable fucking bath toy. Marketing it for fucking children, which was the mistake from the fucking get-go. If kids liked the original movie and watched the original film when it came out on VHS, and the parents allowed them to, cool, more power to them. But the film was not made for kids. Bitches Leave is not a movie. It's a movie with the line Bitches Leave was not made for fucking kids. RoboCop 2, when people said it was trying to be, well, people were pissed off. Kids are gonna watch this. And kids, this is really not good for children. It's not meant for children. That's why you have scenes of RoboCop 2 with the drug-dealing kid. And kids and a baseball team, robbing a fucking store. That's why. It's not meant for kids. RoboCop was never meant for fucking kids. And then RoboCop 3 turned him into a fucking action figure. The TV series continued to follow suit and took away his fucking balls. Castrated him. RoboCop 3 did the same thing. So now he can't really kill anybody. He can't hurt anybody. He can't use lethal force anymore. Doing trick shots and tasering people. Which is the same fucking shit that happens in this movie. RoboCop tases people in this. So you go from shooting people in the fucking balls to tasering people in the face. Fucking sad, tragic, fucking pathetic shit. Like I said in that video I did a long time ago, maybe a year ago, the rise and fall of RoboCop. It's like they brought him back to life. They dug him out of his fucking grave, resurrected him, only to kill him again. And that's fucking bullshit. Pisses me the fuck off. Serious. I just wanted to see RoboCop get brought back to his R-rated roots. RoboCop to have a film like Dredd. Dredd is basically what the RoboCop reboot should have been. They should have appealed to that audience. Yeah, it didn't do well in theaters, but you know what? It made a killing on Blu-ray and DVD. Not enough for them to make a sequel, but if you're not going to do that, make an R-rated RoboCop movie with Carl Urban in the lead. Amp up the violence to 11, man. And just, like have a sort of idea like Dredd. RoboCop going into a building, taking down a bunch of bad guys. This is not what I fucking wanted. I didn't ask for a RoboCop remake. And if I wanted to see a RoboCop remake, I wanted to see it bring him back to his R-rated roots. Not keep him with the goddamn kids. Not have RoboCop continue to sit at the kids' table. Because that's not the fucking point of this character. It's not what he was originated for. He was based on Judge fucking Dredd. Dredd is not meant for kids. So yeah. Right, as soon as I hear it's PG-13 and they're doing all this, that pissed me off. Joel Kinnaman opened his mouth saying that, well, my performance is going to be more human performance and it won't be just chin action. Which is basically just the equivalent of him bitch smacking Purell in the face. Pissed me the fuck off. Rightfully so. Oh great, the new guy's playing RoboCop now is a total douchebag. Great, I'm going to get behind this movie. Because the lead actor is a fucking asshole. Great. No. And then hearing more shit, like he says in an interview, like, I'm not going to do this movie. I wouldn't have done this movie if it wasn't going to be rated R. A RoboCop movie can't be PG-13. And then what happens recently? He says in an interview, he's like talking about, oh, it should have been PG-13. It has to be PG-13. So I'm like, you contradictory fucking asshole, Joel Kinnaman. You contradictory fucking asshat, Joel Cinnabon motherfucker. Shove some cinnamon rolls up your ass. Fuck. Seriously, man. Contradictory, fucking hypocritical piece of shit. Sorry. Some guy like that, saying comments like that, saying one thing, then then basically saying completely another thing. Like, what is he, a fucking politician? What the fuck, Joel Kinnaman? And plus, he's not a good actor. I don't care. I've seen The Killing. He did nothing to impress me. This is an actor who is a run-of-the-mill type guy, when you compare him to Peter Weller, who was a unique-looking actor, he had a unique performance style, he had a unique style. He's a great actor, and is still great to this day. He was fantastic in Star Trek Into Darkness. He wasn't an actor that you thought you would buy as a badass, because it was like Buckaroo Banzai. But he pulled it off. Because he actually tried. He tried and put a lot of work into it. Kinnaman, he's just like he's not trying hard enough half the time when he's trying to be intimidating. At least to me. So, right off the bat, I don't like the fucking lead guy. Great. New generation's RoboCop is a fucking asshole who disrespects one of my favorite actors, and the performance that is the reason why you're even getting this fucking role and this job is because of Peter Weller and how well he did in the original film. That it wasn't just fucking chin action, because if it was, you wouldn't be in this movie. This movie wouldn't be being made, and you would not have this fucking job. So show some fucking respect. So, is that too much to ask? I don't know. I think that's something that should be expected of somebody who's carrying the mantle. They're becoming the new RoboCop. They should be respecting the guy who made RoboCop a household name in the fucking first place. So, then you hear about the supporting cast. Samuel L. Jackson. Zip-de fucking doo-dah. Gary Oldman. Oh, okay, cool. You know? Abbie Cornish. I'm not that familiar with her. Jackie Earle Haley. Great. Red flag. Because Jackie Earle Haley was in one of the worst remakes of all time in Nightmare on Elm Street. Great. Wonderful. With this fucking French fried taters. Fucking Freddy. So, Michael K. Williams for The Wire. Never seen The Wire, so I don't have much to say. Jennifer Ehle. Ehle or whatever. Who? Jay Baruchel. Really? The guy from The Sorcerer's Apprentice? And he was way out of place in this fucking movie, too. The director, Jose Padillha, never seen Elite Squad, and they're R-rated films, so now he's stuck doing a PG-13 movie, so he can't do what he is more familiar with. Great. So, wow. So that's my cast. And I, of course, I forgot Michael Keaton, because originally it was Hugh Laurie, who I believe is going to be Michael Keaton's character, Raymond Sellers. So I was excited about Michael Keaton. I'm like, oh shit, Michael Keaton, he's coming back. I love Michael Keaton. You know? One of my favorite actors. So, I was excited for Keaton. I was willing to be like, okay, I'll give, hey, Keaton's coming back, alright, I'll give my money to support Keaton's return. Okay, alright, there you go. The only thing I was excited for before this movie came out was Michael Keaton. So, then I start seeing pictures of what RoboCop looks like. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. He looks like fucking RoboCop. He looks like a fucking Power Ranger. Great. Wonderful. So then, you have that. Then see the first trailer. And Joel Kinnaman talking through his fucking teeth like he's, Timothy Oliphant from Live Free or Die Hard. If you're coming with me. Great. Great. Fantastic. See clips online with Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman arguing, and Keaton is really not doing a great job, and it's even more obvious in the final film. Seeing the clip with Ed 209, RoboCop fighting Ed 209, not impressed. Not impressed at all. This fucking shaky cam and fucking CGI, like computer game, video game graphics. Great. Fantastic. The film also got pushed forward, and had I think it was going to have a summer or August release or something, and it got pushed to February. It shows how much this studio trusts this film. Oh, it was going to be in February, but they pushed it back a week because they didn't want to get destroyed by the Lego movie, which looks like it's going to happen anyway. Which, to be honest, I'd rather see the Lego movie. I like Legos. I grew up playing with Legos. That's a cool idea, Lego movie. There's a lot of things you can do with that. And it doesn't have to, it's a kid's movie, so I can, I don't have to expect too much from that. This is RoboCop. All I wanted was a good time. All I wanted is to be entertained, something that I'd buy for $1. And this wasn't fucking it! So anyway, and then of course before I even saw the film, I also heard the bit of the score by Pedro Bronfman. Excuse me, I'm allergic to this film's bullshit, and my stomach is, my stomach doesn't like this movie either. So I heard Pedro Bronfman's score, where he's basically taking Beza Portodoros' music and taking a shit on it, turning it into some really fucking shitty ass remix. Sounds like ass. Great. So then now, Valentine's Day comes around. Didn't see it on Wednesday. Didn't see it on opening day. Because, I had school and college and things like that. So yesterday, Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine. I don't have a hot smoking date. So what do? I make a date with this fucking whore. I make a date with RoboCock. And I go in, pay my $6 extra, go in, watch, sitting down, good seats, prime seats. 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock showing on a Friday night, Valentine's Day. And there are literally not even 10 people in this theater. And this is an IMAX theater. Prime time showing, 7 o'clock at night on Friday. Nobody there. Barely anybody in the theater. Great. And half the people were kids. Yeah, parents taking their kids to see the movie. Great. The kids weren't annoying. They weren't too bad. You know a movie's bad when it's starting to give me a headache by just talking about it. Seriously. I'm getting a fucking throbbing ass fucking migraine headache right now. Just talking about this fucking thing. So, kids didn't make much noise, which is good. But there was this fucking fat ass in the, in one of the seats on the left of me who kept looking at his goddamn phone, during the trailers, and it was distracting. I'm seeing his fucking phone screen in the left-hand corner of my eye. I'm even saying under my breath, put your fucking phone away, man. Did you see the multiple different warnings and stuff that they say before the movie starts? Silence your cell phone, turn off your phone, no texting during the movie. But here he is looking through his Facebook or Reddit fucking shit, and I could see him, I could see his phone in the corner of my eye, and it's distracting me, and it's making my eyes get all fucked up and shit. Luckily, he shut it off before the movie started. And that was the only problem I had with anybody in the theater, other than the movie itself. So, thank God he shut it off. I swear to God, if he did not shut that fucking phone off, and if he was going throughout the whole film, looking through his fucking Facebook, Reddit pages, and I'm seeing the fucking reflection of his goddamn phone in the corner of my eye, I was gonna get up out of my seat, walked over to him, tell him, please, turn off your phone. Okay? Or I'm gonna shove it up your fucking ass. Turn off your fucking phone. Of course, no, I wouldn't really threaten him like that. I'd try to be a nice guy about it. If he was a dick to me, then it'd get real. Then that phone would get shoved up his fucking fat ass. Anyway. So now, see the trailers. Okay. To be honest, the trailers that I saw were better and more entertaining than this fucking movie. So, movie starts. Bad way to start a film. If I've lowered my expectations to the floor, below sea level, and, down to the fucking Marianne Trench, all the way down to the bottom, they can't get any lower. Then you have the way the film opens up. MGM logo. You don't hear the roar. Instead, you hear... Not kidding. I'm not making this shit up. I couldn't if I even tried. That's what you hear. The start of the film. That. Then it cuts to Sam Jackson getting ready for his show. Yeah, he's going... Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Yep, that's what happens. That's how your movie starts. That's how the RoboCop remake starts. Right off the fucking bat, it's a fucking joke! So, yeah. Now I'm pissed. I was not really looking forward to this movie to begin with. And then it starts out with fucking Sam Jackson going... Are you fucking kidding me? Now you just turned me off from, like, literally, it's a record. I've never seen a film that has literally turned me off from the moment it fucking starts. From the fucking second it starts, it turns me off. Fuck you! RoboCop remake? God damn it! So, is this, is all this bullshit worth it? No, because it's not funny, it's embarrassing, and it's fucking stupid. So, after he's done getting ready, he starts his show. The Novak element or effect or whatever the fuck it is. Which is this film's version of Media Break. And it's fucking boring. It's fucking shitty. It's like I'm watching a shitty TV show while I'm watching a shitty movie. And I want to change the fucking channel. And I want to shut the fucking movie off. So, Sam Jackson, talking. It's Bill O'Reilly, or it's like Fox News, which nobody wants to fucking watch Fox News. So what's so funny about this? Nothing. So, there's not much to satire Fox News with. Fox News satirizes itself every fucking day. Fox News is a joke. There's nothing to really make a joke about Fox News, because it's already a joke. Bill O'Reilly's show is already a fucking joke. So you're just gonna have Sam Jackson just be, equivalent of Bill O'Reilly. And there's way too many of these fucking scenes, these segments, where Novak element, Novak effect, whatever, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Literally, I'm having to look at Wikipedia to, get the full synopsis of this movie back in my head. Because I've already fucking forgotten about it. I saw this at 7 o'clock at night last night, and it's a blur. It's a fucking blur right now. It's a fucking black, fucking blur. Black and red and blue blur. So, yeah. Don't know. So I have to use Wikipedia. So anyway, Novak element effect fucking segments, which are fucking shitty, and just Sam Jackson talking, and I'm like, Sam Jackson, shut the fuck up! I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay? Shut the fuck up. I hope that shark from Deep Blue Sea shows up out of fucking nowhere and bites your ass in half. Bite your fucking head off. Shut the fuck up, please. So, these segments suck. They're not funny. And it starts out with some mission in Tehran, where you have the N209s and these robots straight from iRobot or fucking the Total Recall remake. Another Paul Verhoeven film that was remade and had its balls taken away. So, then you have this segment in Tehran, which is like the only fucking segment in the movie where I'm like, okay, maybe I'm starting to get into it, where these N209s are trying to, there's a reporter lady, and she's on the show for the Novak effect or whatever, and she's on location in Tehran, and she's getting help, basically guided and showing the robots in action, identifying people, and non-threats and suspects, terrorists, or whatever. And so there's these Middle Eastern guys. This guy decides that he's gonna, and a few of his buddies are gonna use suicide bomb these Ed-209s. So they jump off buildings, bomb, blow up an Ed-209. The girl is also trying to help out by Jackie Haley, who plays this character, who is Rick Maddox, who is this expert, robots expert or whatever, robot expert, and he's protecting her or whatever, and there's like a war zone going on, and that's the CGI of the Ed-209s wasn't too bad here, wasn't too bad at all, and the Ed-209s in this film they work perfectly, because once again, this movie took the idea of everything has to be different from the original film, in my opinion, way too seriously. In my opinion, the differences that you take better make fucking sense, or they should work. And 209's working properly, fine. That's the difference I don't mind about this movie. Fine, whatever. Be my guest. There's other differences which I don't fucking care for at all, which I'll get into later. So, have a scene in Tehran, and the kid, who's like one of the sons of one of the guys who's given a suicide bomb, who was in the suicide bombers, grabs a knife, goes out, tries to, I don't know what he's gonna do with the fucking knife, with the robot. But he goes out, defends his honor, family's honor, or whatever, and he gets shot. But you don't see anything, because it's PG-13. So any event that this film could have had an impact is ruined because of its rating. If this is R, it could really shock an audience. This scene could have really hit home, because you would have had balls to the wall. See that when I just fucking murder a boy, just shoot him up, turn him into paste. That would have been some really intense shit. But no, PG-13. We don't even see him. We see it's intended that he got shot by that 209, and it happened, but you don't see anything. Which happens a lot of fucking scenes in this movie. Whenever people get shot, half the goddamn time they fall behind something. Yeah, it's like a fucking drinking game. Start taking a shot every time somebody gets shot and they fall behind a box or a fence or anything. Because it happens a lot in this movie. Because PG-13. So, you have that opening segment, which is about 5-8 minutes, whatever, Sam Jackson billowing, blabbering on, and turn around, okay. But that whole scene, because I don't like the tone of this movie. Not really the tone, it's the way that it's edited. I don't like it. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the flow. That's the main thing. So you might be getting into the Tehran sequence. As soon as you get into it, cuts to more segments of Sam Jackson. As you can see, the robots are doing really well, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't give a shit about the show. Alright? You have cinematic moments that are cut short to cut back to a fucking goddamn news show. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Go back to Tehran and show me the actual wide scope of this scene. Not stuck in like the small screen on the touch screen that Sam Jackson is touching in fucking midair. No. So after that scene, for some reason, near the end of this segment of this show, the Novak element, Refect, the score, the score you heard in the beginning of in the original film, you know, the little bit that begins the movie, starts up. Then you see the titles. And then you hear absolutely atrocious fucking cover of Basil Polidorus' music. Why the fuck are you going to use this score if you're not going to just use the actual score? Why the fuck would you dubstep it? Why the fuck would you remix that shit? Why the fuck would you remix it worse than people on YouTube do? Like, hey, get that remix I used to use for that intro that I did. Like the original Robo Month idea I had. The Robo Files. Did you get that remix? It's better than this fucking shit. It's lazy. It sounds like shit. So you hear that. Then you start hearing more RoboCop music as a new Alex Murphy, Joel Kinnaman, walks into his precinct. And then he opens his mouth, and I start laughing. Because he sounds like fucking Vanilla Ice. Sounds like a fucking wannabe gangster, you know? Well, I don't know, man. The chief, you gotta know, man, we're gonna bust that guy. And it's kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that. Not exactly like that, because he has a lower voice, but kind of like that. So I'm like, great. And he acts like a douchebag. So right off the bat, Joel Kinnaman, your new Alex Murphy, is unlikable. Fucking great. Wonderful. So then he teams up with his new partner, Lewis, who isn't a girl, because we got to switch the genders around because we got to be different, which is pointless. This is a pointless difference, because why not have a female partner? What's wrong with that? And if you're going to have a male partner, have him do something. He does some things, Michael K. Williams, but he doesn't leave any of impact. Honestly, I could easily do without him. I didn't even know he was there half the time. His performance to me was just like wannabe tough guy. Reminded me of like 50 Cent's acting. Great. I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough black guy. Yeah. Don't want to mess with me. It's kind of how that's kind of how I interpreted it. So Joel Kinnaman and it's Joel Kinnaman. So Joel Kinnaman and the dude from The Wire go in and they try to stop this new crime guy, this new crime lord called Antoine Vallon, who's supposed to be like a super criminal, like Clarence Boddicker. But since it's a movie PG-13, you can't see organized crime done right because it's PG-13. So yeah, so you have this guy Antoine Vallon, who is played by just trying to find it here. Patrick Garrow. Invisible. Fucking invisible. In comparison to Clarence Boddicker, this is your villain? What a fucking joke. Just like the whole movie. Pathetic. This is your villain? I thought he was gonna sell me fucking wine. Or some shit. Fucking cheese. This motherfucker could have just been a fucking guy, selling me shit at fucking Walmart. He could be a fucking Walmart door greeter. Because that's as much of an impact that he has on this film. He's not that intimidating. He looks to me like a combination of Fisher Stevens and fucking Dennis Leary from Judgment Night. Fuck, you should have had Dennis Leary. Because that would have been better. Because I can buy Dennis Leary. This guy... What the fuck did he have to offer? Nothing. Just like this movie. Fucking nothing. So, I try to stop this guy or whatever. They get in a shootout in a diner. Fucking shaky cam up the ass. Can't keep the fucking camera straight to save their lives. Oh, also forgot, there's another gender flipped. The Sergeant Lewis from the original movie, Robert Dupuy, who's great. We'll replace him, we'll make him a chick now. We'll do that just for us to be different. Played by Marianne-Jean Baptiste, played by Chief Karen Dean, which she reminded me of CTH Pounder from RoboCop 3, which I was like fucking great, wonderful. So anyway, don't compare it to the original movie. Fuck that. Don't call it RoboCop. Call it CyberCop. Call it something else. Don't have Alex Murphy in this movie. Don't have his partner named called Lewis. Don't have Omni Consumer Products. Don't have Ed 209s. Don't call it RoboCop if you don't want me to compare it to the original film. What about The Thing and the Blob? Well, The Thing and the Blob, the difference they had, they didn't have characters named after characters from the original film. They didn't. They had their own characters. They created their own characters. They created their own story. They created their own interpretation of the fucking movie. Same thing for The Fly. They were as loosely based on the original films as they possibly could be. And that's why they're great. That's why they're great remakes. This is shit. Because it's like, hey, we're different, but we still have the same characters. And it's the same general plot. But we're going to execute it lazily. And without any punch, without any gravitas, without any impact. Hey, we have a bad guy, drug dealer, kind of like Clarence Boddicker, but he's completely forgettable. Unlike Boddicker, who was a quotable character, instantly memorable, and still a memorable character to this day. You love to hate that guy. You love that guy. You party with that guy. This guy, who the fuck is he? Selling me fucking cheese by the fucking side of the street or some shit. Fucking selling oranges and shit. What the fuck? So, yeah. So those movies, The Thing, The Fly, the 80s Thing, the 80s Fly, the 80s Blob, they separated themselves as far as they possibly could from the original movie. The only thing they had in common was the title and the fact that they had a fly, a blob, and a thing in it. And of course the thing had the Arctic and whatever. The snow. That's it. It's only fucking things that they had in common. This has Alex Murphy, has a partner named, Lewis. Has a doctor named Norton, who is obviously inspired by Morton, but instead of calling him Morton, they just change it around and call him Norton. Because, hey, it's different, because we changed one fucking letter of his name. Of his last name. So, you have that. And you still have, Alex still has a wife and a kid. You still have basically Old Man and Dick Jones. They're just combined into one character, Raymond Sellers. Still have Ed 219s. You still have scenes where RoboCop is overriding his programming. You still have the fourth directive. Yep. Still here. It's just renamed as a red asset. You still have a showdown with RoboCop and the CEO at the end of the movie. Still have that. You still have a scene where RoboCop is getting shot to shit. But it's not as emotional or as powerful because in the original film, he was getting shot by his own police officers. Here, he just got shot to shit by the Ed 219 and runs away and he shoots his arm off and whatever. So that's what I'm saying. The original, those films that if you're going to bring up to me that you don't compare it, what you say don't compare it to you say stuff like, it's okay to compare to the original movie, but like, what about Blob and the Thing? Like, you compare it. No, I don't compare it to those movies because they're as far distant to them as possible. This isn't the case. It just rearranges some shit. It just changes shit around and says, hey, we're different! I'm like, you're not different enough. And your differences either don't work or are stupid and pointless. Like changing around the genders of Lewis and the police chief. Like, big fucking whoop-de-doo. Same thing with changing Morton's character, pretty much, into Dr. Norton. So anyway, in this shootout, where there's like 50 million fucking rounds going off, and these guys can't hit shit. The bad guys or the cops. CNN, Lewis gets shot, and then Murphy's upset, and the camera zooms out like fucking cliche. Cuts to a scene in the hospital. Cliche, like, I'm gonna get him for you, And then he goes home to meet his wife. And you know what? You want to know how you know that these two are in love? That Clara, Abbie Cornish, and Alex Murphy, Joel Kinnaman, are in love? Because they have to make out. They have to go in the bedroom and do the nasty. But PG-13 sex. Of course, before that, you saw the scene in the trailer where he grabs his kid and he's like, I'm going to give him, give him a kiss or something. Give his mom a kiss, but then he kisses his mom first. It's like, too slow, boy. Which you're like, wow. And another thing that I don't like about Joel Kinnaman, he just seems so wrong for this role to me. He has the size, yeah, sure. But his personality does not work for RoboCop to me. He's just a fucking wooden board. He's this fucking wooden and personality, completely, driven, or like, I'm trying to think of the right word. Like, he's completely devoid of any personality, in my opinion. It's a fucking flat board, like Rooney Mara in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. So, yeah, I thought he was that bad. Scenes where he's crying mainly tears does not make him, a great emotional performance. Sorry, I can see through those fake tears. Or if they were real, I can still see through them. Because you're still going, I don't like, just do it. Just kill me now. So anyway, I'll get into that scene soon enough. But anyway, this little boy acting like some fucking jock. He looks like a fucking jock. Yeah, Tom Brady's fucking RoboCop. Great. We have Daniel Tosh too. Kind of looks like Tosh too, as well. So anyway, Joel Kinnaman, his wife tried to get it on, but the car alarm goes off. And this is a scene where people in the audience actually laughed at it. Because it was really stupid. Like, they're making out. It's like, oh, baby, stop. So, baby, I gotta go. I go, what? No, don't go. The car alarm is going off. We're gonna wake up the kid. I gotta go. No, come on, stay. Basically equivalent of, come on, stay and fuck me. And he was like, no, I gotta take the car alarm. Start the car alarm. So goes to the car alarm. Boom! It gets blown up. Because Valiant and his men set up the bomb. It gets blown up by a car bomb. Wow. Blink and you miss it. Bang! Yeah, that's how a car bomb is, but it's just not as impactful. You know, it's just like, oh, it's sad, it's tragic, but it's like, wow. You want to know how you can make a scene like that look more, disturbing and intense? Look at Darkman. When he's getting his hands burned by the acid, and he gets thrown down on the ground, and the freaking bobbly bird thing taps its beak on a lighter, ignites the whole goddamn building, and boom! Yeah. Sends it flying, burning, screaming into the river. That's some fucking intense shit. This is like, oh. Of course, now he's got 4th-degree burns all over his body. And now he's getting, there's a scene where Abbie Cornish is crying. Because we got to show that she's emotional. Because crying, fragile, emotional woman. Ah! So she's all like doing that. And she's like, do I have enough time? There's not enough. Is there more time? Can I have more time? It's like, no, Miss Murphy, we have to do it now. So she signs off his body to OCP so they can build, this new RoboCop. And of course, after that you have to see scenes where, oh, I forgot about the fucking drama with the fucking politics versus the Dreyfus Act. Where this Dreyfus Act is something where robots aren't allowed. It's not legal to have robots, be on American soil, doing law enforcement acts. Because, American public are scared, rightfully so. Because they don't have any conscience, they don't feel. Because they don't have a soul. Because this movie's so heavy-handed. Points everything out to you. Hey, Alex Murphy, he's got heart. Literally, we have a scene where, well, I'll get into that soon enough. I'll get into that shit soon enough. Oh my god, fuck. I've already mentioned that in the podcast, but god damn it, I hate that fucking scene. That scene is when the movie just jumped the fucking shark. Not only just jumped the shark, but jumped over the shark and into fucking infinity and beyond. So anyway, you have signs him off. So now you have scenes where Michael Keaton is trying to talk to Gary Oldman about what to do. And this scene is uncomfortable for me to watch. Because you have Michael Keaton, one of my favorite actors. And this is a scene where supposed to be serious. And he's acting like fucking Beetlejuice. He's all like, you don't understand. Okay, alright. What I want is, this isn't exact line of dialogue, but just do it. Just do it. Just put a man in a machine. Do it. It's the same sort of thing. And it doesn't work. Oldman's yelling with him. It's like, it does not work because you're like, Michael, man, this is not the right approach for this scene. And there were multiple times where Keaton's acting like it's a comedy. I'm like, this is not a comedy. It's a joke. It's a fucking crying shame. But it's not meant to be a comedy. And he's acting like it's a comedy. The hands and the... And I'm like, I love you, Michael Keaton, but man, not the right approach for this scene. So, Keaton's performance, and I love Keaton, and that's one of the things I was looking forward to about this film. He didn't even do a good job, in my opinion. He didn't do an absolutely amazingly terrible job, but he wasn't as effective as he could have been, because he was uneven. Because there were moments when he was being Beetlejuice when he shouldn't have, or moments where he's trying to be comedic, looking for a laugh when he shouldn't have. There were, it should have just been straightforward, like the scene near the end where he threatens RoboCop and his wife and kid. It needs to be that way all the way through the film. None of this like, just say it! Just, no. I didn't need that. So anyway. But seeing that scene lets me know that Keaton still got it in him. If he's going to do Beetlejuice 2, he can do it. He can do it. Still got enough energy to do that. Even at his age. I love Keaton, though. I respect Michael Keaton. He's one of my favorite actors. But he didn't save the film because he didn't bring his A game, in my opinion. He was inconsistent. So after that, now we get introduced to the new RoboCop. You have that scene where, in order to establish once again that these two are in love, we'll have them dancing and like just dancing in a flashback to Frank Sinatra. Fly me to the moon and let me da 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 da. I'm like, the first film did it so much better and didn't have to shove this heavy-handed drama. It handled it better because it had little, there were a few scenes of these dramatic moments. And that's the reason why there were so few, is because by having so few in Verhoeven's original film, they were able to have the utmost impact, the ultimate impact. Here, it just gets old after a while. And I'll get into it soon enough. There's too much fucking drama in this movie that slows the movie down to a fucking crawl. Literally, after the first 20 minutes, I was looking at my watch. And I was like, it's only 7:40. It's only 7:45? And there's actually somebody I heard that actually walked out of the movie in the first 20 minutes. They were bored. I don't blame them. I never felt that way watching the original RoboCop or RoboCop 2. Felt that way watching RoboCop 3. I didn't think I was going to experience that feeling now in 2014 on the big screen, on IMAX. But I did. I experienced that tenfold. So, it's fucking boring. Nothing barely fucking happens in the first fucking 20, 30, 40 minutes of the movie. So then it's all it is backstory and origin shit. And I'm sick and fucking tired of this. The origin of RoboCop is fucking simple. He dies. He's a police officer. He dies. He gets brought back. He gets turned into a machine. Now he starts fighting crime. This movie took forever to get to the fighting crime aspect. Because I wanted to show him training. Which I could give a fuck. I don't give a shit about your training scenes. So anyway, just show me him in action. Show me Robo on the streets of Detroit kicking some ass. I'm not talking about robot ass. Kick some real ass. So anyway, he's now a machine and flying me to the moon, and then you find out he's dreaming. Then the dream ends, and it's time to wake him up, and he's freaked out, and he's all like, "What did you do to me?" And then, Garrow Oldman lets him run around to get his thoughts, I guess, in order or whatever. And it's not in America. For some reason, he's not getting built in Detroit. He's getting built in Taiwan, China, fucking Asia. Why do you know this? Because, he walks around a warehouse, and there's a bunch of Asian people working on things for Omnicorp. And that's another point that's different. Instead of Omni Consumer Products, it's Omnicorp. So then you go in, and he's running around, walking around. And then he's running, and when he's running, I thought it looked goofy. I thought it looked goofy as fuck, seeing RoboCop run around. Fucking run, Forrest, run! So he's running, and goes in, goes outside of the complex. So it's a bunch of rice paddies, because we're in Asia. And then he gets shut down remotely. Yeah, this RoboCop is such a badass, he can get shut down with the push of a button. Ha! God damn it. So anyway, shut him down, bring him back, and then what happens is, this is supposed to be the knockout scene, the scene where it's gonna just pull your heartstrings and just smack you right in the chest and be like, oh my god, this is what's left of him. And they show him, and they start pulling apart his body. And all you see that's left behind of Alex Murphy is his head. And his brain in like a encasing. You can see his brain. And clear encasing of his lungs. You can see his lungs. See his throat. And a fucking hand. Just a hand. Just a normal hand just sitting there. Not connected to anything, just sitting there. With like some black arm bracelet around it or some shit. What? And I'll quote the original film. Morton from Miguel Ferrer. I thought I said total body prosthesis. Lose the fucking hand. So, anyway, you have the hand. There's no reason to have a goddamn hand. It's not there's no reason for it in this movie. It was hinted at in interviews, but there's no scenes that say that it needs to be used for fingerprinting or to get around the law or whatever, robotics, or the Dreyfus Act. There's no reason for the hand to be there. So you have this scene, and which should be emotional and powerful, and I start laughing because first thing you hear is you see his body. Joel Kinnaman's all like, Holy Christ! Holy Christ! Holy Christ! Holy Christ? Yeah, PG-13. But I think you could say shit, right? Like, he might as well just said, Holy cow! Holy cow! Fucking PC, man. Good practical effects on this. But it's just gross. It's just gross for the sake of being gross, in my opinion. It's over the top. You hear, like, sucking sounds and shit. And then he's, like, crying, manly tears. And he's like, just kill me now, just do it, kill me. And I didn't buy it to me, because Kinnaman's just so one-note. His acting sucks. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. His acting fucking sucks. He's a shitty actor. Better actor might have made this scene have more impact. And also, don't show it like this, because this is fucking ridiculous. Brain pan, seeing his brain, lungs, and hand. He's trying to be serious scene, and I'm seeing that fucking hand and his lungs. I'm like, this is over the top. And not in a good way. So, yeah, I was laughing. I was covering my mouth to try not to, distract the, 10 people in the audience. So, after that scene, which is like, just don't tell my wife, I don't ever want to be seen like this again. And then he has a web chat with his wife, which should have been cut out. There's nothing added to it, because he's just like, oh my god, no. He's like, I'm doing okay. I'm fine, or some shit like that. I was like, oh, whatever. This movie is trying so hard to be dramatic. It's trying so hard to have heart, but it's artificial. It doesn't feel real. It feels fake. So then now you go into training scenes. Earle Haley, he says a line from the original movie, throwaway line. It's like, you can't buy that type of technology for $1. I'm like, really? Wow. Pfft. Completely missed the point of that line and just threw it the throwaway line, like a lot of the fucking lines in this movie are. From the original film, homage lines are just throwaway lines. They don't have much impact at all. Except for the Dead or Alive You're Coming With Me line at the end. I thought that was actually a good use of it. For once. So, but anyway. Training scene. He's in his gray suit. Which in my opinion looks like shit. And is going around doing training. Trying to train, is aiming his target systems and, what he would do in a hostage situation and so forth. First they show robots what they do. Now he's gonna give it his try. Give it his best shot. And Earle Haley calls him Tin Man. And then what does he do? I like music while I work. Plays, I kid you not. If I only had a heart, da 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 da. If I only had a heart, da 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 da. Yep. Fucking Wizard of Oz music! If I only had a fucking heart! What a fucking joke! Fuck! This goddamn piece of shit. Seriously. Fuck that! What a fucking embarrassing ass fucking scene. The most embarrassing fucking scene I have seen in a RoboCop film. Bar none. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's heavy-handed as fuck, because it's trying to be like, if I only had a heart. See? Heart. He has heart. He has some heart. It's just as fucking embarrassing and childish as that fucking line of RoboCop 3 where Nico's telling RoboCop, I'm glad your new heart works. It's the same fucking shit. Didn't learn from RoboCop 3 now, did you? But I only had a fucking heart. What the fuck? Ugh, fucking piece of shit, motherfucker. Fuck this goddamn movie. If I only had a fucking heart, Wizard of fucking Oz in my RoboCop film. Fucking Tin Man! Fuck that! God! So, yeah. That's the moment where I told the movie to fuck itself. I gave it the fucking middle finger. I literally went like this to the goddamn movie screen. Because you gotta be fucking kidding me with that shit. So after that fucking embarrassing, low point of Robo's fucking cinematic career, that was like just the worst. If you like that, fine. To me, fuck that shit. That's even worse than anything in RoboCop 2, where it's like, oh, you know, bad language leads to bad feelings. Oh, the moon is lovely today, isn't it, Lewis? Murphy's daylight outside. That's not nearly as bad as, if I only had a heart. I'd like to find the person who wrote that in the screenplay, the person who greenlit that shit, who let that shit, you know, basically end up, you know, who let my eyes witness that shit. I'd like to find that fucking person and beat him over the fucking head with my Laserdisc of RoboCop. Just beat him over the motherfucking head. Because it's a fucking stupid idea. It's disrespectful to the character. It turns him into a fucking joke. That's what that is. It's a fucking joke. If he wasn't turned into a joke enough with Alpha Commando and fucking rollerblades and fucking toilet paper rolls coming out of his fucking arms and shit, here we have this. Wizard of Oz fucking music. During a training sequence. So after that, and I like Wizard of Oz, but not in my fucking RoboCop movie. Wizard of Oz, Tin Man belong nowhere with RoboCop. You can call him Tin Man, that's fine, but we do not need to hear If I Only Had a Fucking Heart. So anyway, after that, realizes that, hey, there's some things that are going on, and he's not as efficient as he should be, because he's having some emotional whatever issues with adjusting. So Norton goes in and does brain surgery, which is causing the kids in the audience to be like, ew. Well, good effects, good practical effects. I'll give it that. Good effects. Gore for the sake of being gory in that scene. No point other than, hey, look, we're violent and gory like the first movie or the second film. Look, we can do that in PG-13. Yeah, your surgery scenes, yeah, they're so goddamn bloody. Oh my god, ah, ew. In comparison to fucking Kenny getting blown to fucking shreds in the first movie, no, it doesn't even compare. Give me that shit. See, we're being gory and bloody. We're pushing the boundaries. Yeah, right. Fucking RoboCop, look at his brain in that one scene, which reminded me of fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Great. So anyway, better watch out. Better watch out for this piece of shit too. So, brain surgery scene, then they pain, then you have a scene where fucking Jay Baruchel, who's fucking useless in this, he's out of place. What the fuck is he doing in this movie? Is it comic relief? He's not funny. He's out of place. He doesn't belong in this film. And he shows a picture on this touchscreen of the original design from the original movie, and he says, we tested this out in the penitentiary, and it put the fear of God in the hardest criminals. Call this combat mode. Well, yeah, okay, but the only reason why there's that line is because the original line was changed. Original line of, oh, that looks like an 80s toy, was changed to that because of the fans who called them out on their shit. If they were never called out on their shit, that line, that looks like an 80s toy, I guarantee it would be in that scene. So, you have that scene, and they show some stupid, you know, design of RoboCop with sirens on his shoulders, and Michael Giacchino's like, nah. And then you see another look, and he's like, I like that, but make it black. Make it tactical. Which just made fucking sense. Tactical is not black, it's stealth. Make it stealthy. Because the Screen Actors are fucking morons. You know, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. Fucking Joshua Zetmer is a fucking moron. Doesn't understand RoboCop, doesn't understand the character of RoboCop, doesn't understand how to respect RoboCop. Because if you did, you wouldn't be putting fucking If I Only Had a Heart in a training scene. You wouldn't be starting out the movie with you wouldn't be fucking killing the flow of the goddamn film with so many goddamn segments of Sam Jackson talking out of his ass. You wouldn't be having scenes like that if you respected the goddamn fucking original film. You wouldn't be having scenes like either where you show the picture of the original, look of the original, the suit, the suit from the original film, and then you just basically tell it to be painted black. You wouldn't be saying shit like make it tactical, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Wonder what the fuck this guy had written beforehand. Like to know. Oh yeah, and the original screenwriters, Edward Neurmeyer and Michael Miner, they talked about this movie, and they liked it. And that does not mean I like it. So what? What have they done? And what have they done? They did it for money. Probably got paid to say that shit. Anyway, this is his first screenplay. Well, you fucked it up. In my opinion, I don't want to see you write again. Seriously, don't write a fucking screenplay again. Please God. I want to see a Darkman remake and then see that it's written by Joshua Zetmer, or whatever. You fucking suck. You could do better. Yeah, I probably could. I could definitely make make it black, make it more stealth, make it stealthy. I could not fucking write a scene where RoboCop's training to If I Only Had a Fucking Heart from Wizard of Oz. I think I could write a better screenplay. Fucking brain dead, fucking orangutan could write a fucking better screenplay. Anyway, now they paint him black, and now you get to the training scene, which is also there's another training. There was already a training scene with the gray suit and If Only Had a Heart. Now you have the other scene get ruined with fucking a 70s song called Hocus Pocus by Focus. The rock beat is okay at best, but then it's supposed to be a badass scene with him just shooting running around shooting robots is ruined, just like the fucking other training sequence with laughable, shitty, poor music choices. Here's a poor music choice. Focus, Hocus Pocus. Decent guitar riff. But then, when it doesn't work, is yo 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 yo. Yeah. Can you imagine seeing an action sequence was supposed to be badass with RoboCop going around shooting a bunch of robots and shit? And you hear yo 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 yo. That's what you get in this scene. It's fucking shit! Seriously, fucking goddamn bullshit. Ruins the whole goddamn scene. We're like, well, you should have just had Basil Poledouris's theme from the original movie. Unedited, unremixed. That should have been in the movie anyway. Unedited and unremixed. But you know what? When it is in the movie, it's not even in scenes when RoboCop is on the goddamn screen. Except for a little bit in the training scene. The word before you have, I Only Had a Heart. It's in the end or the beginning of fucking segments of Sam Jackson's fucking bullshit news show. So yeah, you hear the RoboCop theme for some reason in his show. Like it's his theme for his show. Which is a fucking joke. Which totally, this writer doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't know his fucking head from a motherfucking hole in the ground. Because if you're gonna put the theme for RoboCop in a fucking news show, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking Nimrod. So anyway, you have that training sequence, which did nothing for me. Because there's no impact to it. He's shooting a bunch of fucking robots. Whoa! Awesome, great, with yodeling in the background, with or something like that. Like, I wanted to walk out. I wanted to walk out multiple times of this movie. I wanted to walk out as soon as I heard the Wizard of Oz music. Literally, I wanted to walk the fuck out of the theater. You know, I wanted to walk out after this yodeling shit. I even said during yodeling scenes, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Sir, what the fuck is this? Shit. And so he's going around shooting the robots and shit, running around like he's Forrest Gump, like he's Jason Bourne, Spider-Man, shooting robots, no impact. Look at when RoboCop first went on patrol in the first film. Fucking, the guy, fuck me, and clotheslines his ass into a fucking freezer. Then goes in and shoots a rapist right in the fucking balls. Then goes in, breaks through a fucking wall, drags some guys trying to shoot a mayor, and punches him out a fucking window. What do you have here? Joke after repeated joke of training sequences that are ruined because of shitty music choices. So then, they just make it beyond laughable. And then also, any of the impact these scenes might have, and any action sequence in this movie, except for maybe one or two, are completely fucked up because we got cut to the control room and Gary Oldman explaining shit to Michael Keaton about how RoboCop works. You can see here, the reflexes are faster, and you see he's able to, with his new vision or whatever, he's able to, I'm like, I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a flying fucking shit about this. Fucking explaining shit. Stop explaining shit like I'm a fucking moron. I can figure it out. Yeah, he's doing crazy shit. Cool. Awesome. I like to make up my own mind. But this movie won't let you do that. It will not allow you to make up your own mind about scenes, about feelings, about moments like the original film and even RoboCop 2 did. It won't allow you to make up your own mind because it makes your mind up for you. With fucking heavy-handed fucking messages. Heart. He's got heart. He's got soul, because he's crying, and he's only had a heart, right? And he's his wife and his kid, and his wife is sad because she's crying, and she's anxious, she's depressed, and we have this RoboVision that will actually tell you that, because if you didn't know that she was feeling anxious or depressed, or if his kid was feeling anxious or depressed or scared because his father's now a machine, we can show that on the RoboVision, and if you know you don't know what's going on when he's like rewriting his programming and he's becoming more human, we're gonna put that. We're actually have Gary Oldman say that to you because we think you're a bunch of fucking idiots. Because we think our audience are brain dead fucking morons who can't comprehend simple fucking plot points or emotions. That's why. I'm not one of them. I saw right through that bullshit. So anyway, cut back to the fucking control room, don't give a fuck, and the fucking yodeling. Great, wonderful. So that scene's over. Oh, because that scene's, in order for him to go back to home, he has to beat all these robots and stop Jackie or Haley. You know why there's no suspense here, too? Because you know that sure as fuck he's gonna win. Because he's gotta get back to Detroit. Because this is where the rest of the movie takes place. So there's no suspense in that scene. And there isn't any anyway because he's shooting robots. What do you fucking do? Yay! Then he gets sent back to Detroit. Excuse me. I almost swallowed air. I almost killed myself there. So anyway, sent back to Detroit. Now it's trying to pull our heartstrings because now he's going back to see his wife and his kid. And in my opinion, these scenes don't work. Don't nearly have as much impact because they're forced. They're heavy-handed. They're not handled that well. I feel that the original film had more impact with the emotions with these scenes where RoboCop was going to his old house and flashbacks to his life. Having RoboCop have his memories wiped and not remembering who he is, and gradually remembering it, and gaining back his humanity is a hell of a lot more fucking interesting than him already having his humanity to begin with, just inside some robot suit, and then they take away his ability to emote by lowering his fucking his dopamine levels, so now he's walking around acting like a zombie. That's how they make him act like a robot. And then all of a sudden, randomly now, he's able to make his dopamine levels back to normal. And now he's fine. And even in scenes where he's RoboCop, he doesn't... Why I don't like Joel Kinnaman is because he doesn't separate Murphy from RoboCop. He's the exact same fucking character as Murphy as he is as RoboCop. There's no fucking difference. The line delivery is the same. The only time it's different is when they lower his dopamine levels. Great. Fucking fascinating, really interesting, and great. No, it's fucking boring. It's boring. There's drama, but it's not the type of drama where you really are thinking hard about it. Like in the original film, you're like, this is so tragic. You're like, I can feel them, but I can't remember them. And then RoboCop knows that he can't really, in the scene of RoboCop 2, he says they made this to honor him because he can't bear to put his wife through that. And here, Abbie Cornish is like, whatever. She's fine with it right from the fucking bat. She signs him off to OCP. She's waiting for him to come home. She gives him a hug. And I was half expected her to lip lock his fucking black butt, black metal behind in this scene. It's just not as interesting. And, you know, it's still tragic, but it's just as tragic as like a paraplegic coming home from the war. And that's tragic. That sucks. But with RoboCop, with this character, this scene should have more impact than a scene like that. Because, yeah, he's a bunch of lungs and a brain. Whoa! That's horrible. That's awful. Yeah, but also he was gonna die anyway. So he's lucky that he's in this suit. That he's actually alive somewhat. You know? This isn't like the first movie Murphy got blown in half, literally was, you know, dead to rights, got brought back to life, memory wiped. Which is another thing. It doesn't make any sense that OCP would, like, not wipe Murphy's memory from the get-go. Yeah, you know, it has complications? That, a guy who got murdered a cop who got murdered isn't going to want to get revenge on the people who murdered him later. Or he's not going to want to go see his wife and kid more than you will allow him to. Oh, yeah. That causes some issues. That's why it makes more fucking sense to wipe his memory. So, but no, we wouldn't have these wonderful scenes with Joel Kinnaman and Abbie Cornish and his son, and asking his son to touch him. You know, touch me, touch it, it's okay, it's alright. And the kids, I taped all the Red Wing games for you, Dad. Cool, alright, great. And then you have the score. The score in this, you know, Pedro Bromfman's score, aside from the shitty remix of Mesopotamor's music, is equally terrible when he's just doing his own thing. Because other parts of the score just sounds like The Dark Knight, Hans Zimmer. You hear a lot of bum, bum, bum. Or in this scene, we're supposed to be emotional. He's playing some slow piano tune that sounds so unearthly and strange. Sounds like it's something I'd hear in a goddamn horror film. So I'm like, am I supposed to be scared right now? Because that's what your score is doing. You're making me think that Murphy's going to flip the fuck out and kill his kid and, you know, try to rape his wife. Like, try to go in and be like, I love you, we gotta finish up the sex that we had, but you don't have a dick, it doesn't matter, no, get off of me. But that's what I thought with that score. Because it wasn't the right tone. It had the whole entirely wrong tone. I understand it's supposed to be offsetting and off-putting and kind of unsettling. Meeting, you know, what Murphy has become for the first time. But not like that. Not horror film unsettling. So, you have that scene, which it didn't work at all. Because wrong tone. Score ruined it for me. So, and Kinnaman and Cornish were just nothing performances. Kinnaman was the fucking Invisible Man as RoboCop, and he's the main character. To me, he was fucking invisible half the time. Like, literally, his emotions or his spirit or anything inherently Kinnaman. Like, anything that he could really add to it was fucking invisible. Anything the actor could add to the character was invisible. I'm not counting action scenes, because that's not acting. Anything where it's supposed to act and not do chin music, didn't buy it. It's fucking blank slate. So anyway, I have that emotional scene, which carries none of the emotional weight that the scene in RoboCop 2 did when he meets his wife, tells him that they made this to honor him. It's more interesting. It's more thematically captivating to have the idea that he can't tell his family, can't see his family, because he knows them, he remembers them, but he can't feel them, and because he's now a machine, and he can't see them because, well, he doesn't want to put them through the hell that he would put them through, because they already dealt with him dying already. In this film, it's like, no, she knows he's not dead yet, he was on life support, and she just signs him off, and he gets put in this machine. It's not like in the first film where he actually dies. He physically dies. He gets shot to shit. There's a funeral. There's everything. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, this movie's so bad the weather is going crazy. You can hear it. Hear that. Downpour. Yeah. So anyway, it's just like, what? So I just don't like this approach. The dramatic elements here in this film don't hold near as much weight as the original film did. With the idea that he's already dead, they had a funeral for him, his family's already moved on, and now he's starting to remember them and trying to bring them back in. Trying to be a part of the family. But the family's already moved on from him, and they think he's dead. And then he comes back, and he looks like Murphy. That's more interesting and involving than, oh, you're alive now, but you're a robot. I missed you so much. That's just how I feel. You know, that's how I feel about it. Could have had a scene where Murphy goes to see his grave. I wanted the scene where Murphy goes to his own grave, but you don't have that in this reboot because he didn't really ever really truthfully die. So there's that. And in the scenes where he's got his matte faceplate up, he looks like a fucking deep sea diver. Expecting him to dive in the fucking ocean. And I see Kinnaman's face too much. And even in scenes where they're not emotional scenes. Because it's a new modern Hollywood movie. You gotta see his face. He's an actor. We gotta see his face. Which is bullshit. Because in RoboCop, and even the TV series did this better. When his helmet was off, you knew something emotional was happening. Some scene with emotional power and weight was going to happen. This is just like, he has his visor off most of the time anyway. So anyway, you have that scene, emotional scene with his wife and kid that I didn't buy. And then, now, he's getting all this information uploaded into his brain about all these police, activities and shit. All these people who need to be arrested and all these different, catalogs and all this kind of stuff. The whole police computer into his head, pretty much. And now he's starting to have flashbacks of his murder. So he's seeing this car bomb flashing back both and forth. He's starting to have a seizure. And so they got to get him out to the public so people can see the news and everybody can see what Murphy now, the new cop, the new RoboCop. So Norton basically lowers his dopamine levels to almost nothing. So this is the scene where he's become a robot. He goes and walks past his wife and kid, doesn't even give them a glance, and identifies people like he's a robot, like you saw in the beginning of the movie. And then he sees some criminal guy who's hiding in the midst of everybody, Thomas King, shoots him with a taser, and then shitty editing in the scene, choppy editing. It shoots him with the taser, and then you cut to another goddamn segment with Sam Jackson talking about fucking the news. I wish he was talking about fucking on the news. That would have been a lot more interesting than what this shit was. About how Thomas King, he arrested this guy, and he's been a fugitive for 6 years, and he was right under the nose of the police department. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, he was, of course, yeah. Then, now RoboCop is going in, fighting crime. Goes after this one guy. And, Detroit in this movie, for some reason, looks like a fucking, metropolis. It looks beautiful, it looks pristine, it looks clean, it doesn't look crime-ridden at all. I'm not saying it has to look like a war zone like the original film, but at least show me some crime in the streets. Show me a reason why Michael Keaton has to say we need to create something that people can get behind, that they can, trust to save them in their city. That makes the scene make sense where he's looking outside his window on the skyscraper, looking at the city. It's so looking at Detroit, saying that the city's so peaceful now. What? It looked peaceful to begin with. The only time you see any crime is when RoboCop is going looking for it. It's like this is the most really honest. Looks like the fucking suburbs half the time. There's barely no crimes going on at all. Looks like most of the time in this Detroit. It makes no sense to have that approach because it's more topical now to make Detroit look like a crime zone. Because what it is, it's bankrupt. That Detroit is in the shitter right now, for real. And they choose to do the complete opposite route and make it beautiful, pristine, and wonderful looking. Look like fucking St. Angeles from Demolition Man. It's ridiculous. Well, different lighting here and a different cut and a different angle because I had to reshoot the rest of this rant because my camera shut off. So yeah, I'm doubly pissed now. So more like triple irritated. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, as you can see, I'm starting off where I left off. There's see a quick cut. You already saw a quick cut. Now here we go. Now this also gives me a chance to touch upon things that I didn't really touch upon in the other footage that I thought recorded. Now, there's some people saying that, oh, it doesn't matter, Detroit doesn't look like it, demilitarized zone, or doesn't look like a crime-ridden city. Because, it doesn't matter if that's topical, because they have the drones and shit, so that's topical enough. In my opinion, sure, fine. Drones are cool. Drones are topical. Drones are what's going on right now in real life. Okay, cool, fine. They don't really use that very much. They show like one plane drone flying around in the beginning of the movie, and you never see it again throughout the rest of the fucking film. So, not that topical, and not that important to the script, other than creating robot cops and robots to police people and things like that. And the whole Sellers, Sellers versus Dreyfus debacle about debate about who's, this and that, all that kind of shit. Okay, alright. So you have that. My opinion, the reason why you want to call it nitpicking, go right ahead, but the reason why I have a problem with Detroit looking like, pristine and wonderful in this movie is because it doesn't work with the plot. Why do you, like I said earlier, why do you have lines where he's like, we need to make somebody that the city can get behind? What? So, if that would make sense if Detroit was crime-ridden and people were scared of, of their safety. It makes no sense to say a line like that if it looks like it's just a normal, everyday, yay, everything's fine type city, It just, you never see, Detroit in any kind of, so to speak, turmoil. So you never really see any reason why you don't see it in distress, so you see no reason why you need RoboCop. And then also you have the scene where he looks out the window and says it's so peaceful now. There's no reason behind that because it was serene to begin with. So from what you have seen so far, so yeah, no. Sorry, I'm not giving that shit a pass. It's shitty writing, and it needed, if you're gonna, how much extra money? You have a $130 million budget. Just show, you can still have it look pristine, but show me scenes where it is out of hand, where there's crime that's, that's overrunning the city and causing issues and making this once peaceful, beautiful city of Detroit a hellhole for people, and make a reason for RoboCop to fucking exist. Because if the crime isn't there and you don't see it, then why the hell is RoboCop, why do they need a robot cop to take care of things? Well, probably because the plot's idea of that is, well, that he was just a stepping stone for, the other robots, like the Ed 209s and the other machine robot, man, looking like man things, that look like Ultron, to come into play. And he was just expendable from the beginning, because that's the whole idea. Okay, alright, I'll give it that. Still don't like it, well, I'll give it that. So now we've gotten to this point. RoboCop's been introduced to the city of Detroit. He's a zombie now. He's taking his antidepressants. And now he's going after, one of the perps. Trying to find this black fat guy who's a drug dealer. And so he goes in, because like I mentioned, he goes in and he finds this one guy. And he uses RoboVision, and his RoboVision says that he's totally stoned. Ha 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 ha! That's so fucking hilarious. Totally stoned. I wish I was totally stoned. I wish I was stoned while I was watching this fucking movie. Maybe I might enjoy it. Maybe it might be enjoyable if I was fucking stoned. I don't know. Probably would still be boring and fucking shitty. So, speaking of shit, this is what the RoboCop says. He says, you know, tell me where this guy is or I will shoot you with a taser and you will lose all bodily functions. Yep. Should hear RoboCop say a line like that in this movie. Oh, also, I forgot, as soon as you find out the first time when RoboCop is black, you know, like he's painted black and he comes back and visits his partner, Lewis, he says this line. He says, are we going to go get Valiant? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, man. At least I know you're the right color. And literally in the theater, I was like, did I just hear what I thought I heard? And even the audience, people in the audience were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, at least you're the right color. Wow. Insensitive as fuck. Joshua Zetmer. This is the first screenplay he's ever written. Joshua Zetmer wrote this screenplay. This is the first screenplay. It should be his last. It should be his last. Because this is an insensitive, racist-ass fucking line of dialogue. If it was anybody, if it was reversed. If it was a black guy in a white suit, and it was a white guy who told him the same line, there would be riots in the streets, it would be on the news, everywhere. But here, at least you're the right color. It's an afterthought. It's not controversial at all. Just like bullshit. It's like the stuff with when you know Walter Hill said Thomas Jane wasn't a minority. We need a minority as a partner to Stallone, a bullet to the head. You know, because that's another reverse. That's another racism. It's not. I guess not only not really. I guess it's racist, but ignorant. There you go. It's ignorant. Ignorant line of dialogue. I mean, and this writer, I'm sorry, fuck him. I don't think he knows what the fuck he's doing. Because he's got a boring-ass paced movie that has barely nothing that happens of any consequence for the first 45, 50 minutes, where you have training sequences that are fucking ruined with shitty music choices, and, you know, nothing's at stake in those scenes, and then when he shows up in Detroit, you have so he goes in and goes after that one black guy. That one black fat drug dealer goes into a drug bust scene, which is like, oh great, it's like the first movie, but like shittier. He's driving a motorcycle because he thinks he's fucking Street Hawk, shooting in machine guns at him, you know, at the bad guys. But every time he shoots them, they fall behind a box, because of course, or whatever, or a fence, or a crate, because it was PG-13, and then, you know, shooting at him, and these bad guys can't shoot worth shit. And he ends up going after the one fat fucking black drug dealer guy, shoots him with a taser, falls down, drops a grenade, he pulled a pin, he blows up, his fat ass blows up, and RoboCop walks away like he's fucking Iron Man, and am I great? Like that one scene with the tank, and we shot the tank, blew up the tank, and then he walks away like a badass, and the tank blows up behind him. They tried to do the same thing with the scene. We gotta make RoboCop into Iron Man. It's Iron Bat Cop to the rescue. So anyway, so you have that scene, and that action sequence like lasted like blink and you miss it, like 30 seconds. Shaky cam all over the fucking place, driving on a motorcycle, no consequence, no impact, no anything. You don't see any squibs, you don't see blood, you know, pouring out of people's, you know, holes that are shot by RoboCop's, you know, that are made by RoboCop's bullets. No, half the time he's tasering people or shooting them. People are like, he's a cop, he's got to arrest people. I understand that, okay? Well, you know, he's got to, you know, he needs to run too, because he's got to chase perps. So it didn't make any sense in the original that he was so slow and shit like a tank. Yeah, it did make sense, because it's part of the joke. And also, he didn't, you know, he had a recording system. He could record you and have some cops arrest your ass later. RoboCop in the original films is just, you know, walking tank on purpose. He just shoot your ass. He's not being pussy cop. He's not fucking around. Because he knows that because they knew in this future in this dystopian future of Detroit in the 1987 film, you cannot have some pussy cop motherfucker like the one that's running around in this movie, like fucking Forrest Gump, running around, tasering people in that future, because you could not get away with that. These were hardened criminals and gotten out of control, and lethal force was necessary. So they used RoboCop instead of Ed 209, who's malfunctioning and going all over the place and being all around pretty much a nuisance. So here they have RoboCop, and he takes care of business. Takes care, he kicks ass, takes names, doesn't tase people. Doesn't tag them either, but he did that in RoboCop the series. This is just like fucking RoboCop the series. I can watch that show because Richard Eden is 10 times better than Joel Kinnaman. Richard Eden even said himself in a recent interview, literally at the premiere of this film, where there was some asshat who was interviewing him who did not know who he was. Why are you interviewing him if you do not know who he is? He didn't know that he was RoboCop in the TV series. He had no idea. So he's asking what it's been, and Richard Eden said this. Richard Eden said, it wasn't much. Wasn't that great. So Richard Eden, RoboCop from the TV series, who I think is an unbelievably underrated, performance in that show, thought the movie wasn't that great. Cool. From one RoboCop to another RoboCop. Yeah, Peter Weller, who was not looking forward to this, who openly said, basically said that it was a bad idea. And then you have Richard Eden, who says the same thing. I wonder what Robert John Burke has to say about this movie. I wonder what Paige Fletcher has to say about this film. If every RoboCop guy who played RoboCop says that this movie was shitty, wow, that means something. And if you like the movie, that's fine. Like I said multiple times in the review, it's fine, okay? And for the people telling me it's its own film, come on, you don't want the same thing? No, I didn't want the same exact goddamn movie. I don't want a shot-for-shot remake of RoboCop. It's even more insulting. But I want some elements carried over. Not just fucking lines of dialogue they're just thrown away. I'm talking about the core of the character. The whole idea of him not remembering who he is, remembering things, and figuring out his own life piece to piece by piece, is more interesting than him already knowing everything from the get-go and already being able to see his family. I wanted to see the scenes, emotional scenes, where RoboCop visits his own grave and realizes that the finality of the situation he's in. They kind of have that try to do that sort of thing with the scenes with the brains and the lungs, but it doesn't work to me because it just looks over the top and gory for the sake of gory. Let's just be bloody and gory. Look, we can be bloody and gory too. And laughable to me because it's a fucking hand. Lose the fucking hand. There's no reason to have the fucking hand. And half the time in the movie, it looks like his hand switches. So he's got a regular hand on the left, then a regular hand on the right, or then a left and then a right. I don't know. Maybe it's probably the fucking camera that's bobbing up and down, even in scenes where they're just talking. Where there's just two people talking. We're going like this. You like this? I don't like this. So, or in the action sequences, I don't think you like that either, do you? Probably made you sick. Your stomach. It's fucking bullshit. I fucked my camera up, the angle. It's all messed up now. So you can watch it be But anyway, you get my point. I don't like these. I'm fucking sick of shaky cam. Enough. And it's a reason the shaky cam's here in this film to cover up the fact that, hey, we got violence, but if you can't see what the fuck is going on, who's getting shot, it's not that bad. It's PG-13, man. It's not that intense. Because you can't see what the fuck is going on. So, yeah, so that was a really throwaway scene where he's going after that one drug dealer. 30 seconds, driving on a motorcycle, shoots some people, that's it. Thinks he's fucking Dredd. No, not even remotely close. Dredd would kick the shit out of Joel Kinnaman's RoboCop in this movie. Fuck it, I'm not calling this movie RoboCop anymore. It's RoboCock. RoboCock. I will never call this movie RoboCop ever again. It will forever be known as RoboCock for the rest of its fucking existence from now on. RoboCock. So, RoboCock, it continues with, you have more scenes where RoboCock, the new RoboCock, is trying to go around and be a badass and fucking failing miserably. And he has to... There's a scene with Murphy and his wife, and he's on his bike. There's like, oh God, there's a crime happening, you know, have to go take care of it. And his wife's coming in, and she's like, you have to go see your son. And he's like, no, there's a crime in progress. And he's brooding and moody and shit. And then he ends up then thinking about it, and he starts thinking about his kid. And literally, because this movie's fucking morons, you have to have scenes directly after the scene of dialogue where Abbie Cornish is telling Joel Kinnaman that your son is scared and he's having nightmares. You have to have him. He's looking up security camera footage, looking for his son, and you see on the RoboVision screen that he's fearful, he's anxious, and he's scared. Oh, like I wouldn't have known that from the line of dialogue that she just said. Literally, maybe a minute or two, literally just a minute before you have the scene. And now he's starting to undo what they did to him. And you know how we know this? We should just be able to figure this out on our own. But this movie thinks we're babies. This movie thinks we're a bunch of, you know, toddlers or whatever that need to be trained and taught how to think for ourselves. Because this movie treats us like little fucking kids because of its constant heavy-handed messages. And oh look, the movie has heart because he if I only had a heart, and he's crying manly tears. And the girl, she's sad because she's crying. Oh, the kid is scared because he's having nightmares. And also he's undoing. In order for you guys to know that he's undoing what they did to him, that he's making his dopamine levels rise and he's starting to gain control back. Oh, we'll have Gary Oldman say that line directly after we have a scene, which you should be able to figure it out for your fucking self, because we think you're little fucking babies. Because you can't understand it. So we're going to explain it to you with exposition dialogue and fucking things on the RoboVision that make you understand what people are feeling. Because that's how we have to do it, because we think you're little fucking babies. Coo. Fuck that. No, I'm not a fucking baby. I can understand this shit. I can make my mind up. I can figure things out on my own. Stop holding my goddamn hand, movie. Fuck. So, you have that scene where he's looking at the crime scene, and you see another goddamn scene of the car bombing, which, to be honest, I'm serious. At this point, it just lost all its impact. Because you saw it like 50 million times beforehand. Even the scene in the original movie where he gets gunned down brutally, Murphy, if I saw that 50 million times too, it loses impact as well. You know, there's such a thing as impact in small doses. You know, you go overboard with it, it just loses its luster. That's exactly what happens here. So he's piecing together the crime scene and figuring out what's going on. And there's not as much suspense because you already know what happened. You already know who set the bomb. It's like, you just have to have that scene in the control room with the fucking useless bullshit, you know. You have fucking Jennifer Ehle, who's fucking useless, saying shit about, his dopamine levels are rising on their own. That's impossible. He's undoing what we did to him. You saw that in the trailer, of course. Because we gotta explain it to you, because you're babies, audience. So anyway, then, after that, now he's getting his self-control back. And, you know, he goes in and he's gonna get the guy who killed him. He's gonna get revenge on the wine-tasting guy, the fucking cheesehead, the fucking, you know, Walmart door greeter, you know, nobody, nothing of a fucking villain. Antoine Valion. Or might as well be Valium, because his performance will put you to the fucking sleep. So, he's like, alright, get ready, you know. If he leaves alive, no one else does. And then RoboCop comes in. RoboCock comes in on his fucking cock motorcycle, his cock bike, driving in, shooting and shit, and shaky cam and shit all over the fucking place. Fucking motherfuckers wearing fucking welding goggles and shit. Excuse me for the... I'm sorry for the shaky cam. That's just... Sorry for moving the camera around so much too, folks. It's what I had to deal with. It's what I had to deal with watching this movie. With the shaky cam and shit. Fucking at an angle and fucking jump cuts, and anytime you're shooting anybody you have to have it in thermal vision. You don't even see like blood spurts in thermal vision. You can't even pull that. Can't even be that, you know, risky. Can't even do that. So you have to have fucking shit like that, you know, just shoot people in the heat vision, and fuckers wearing welding glasses, and shaky cam, and gunfire going off. But there's no, you barely can see shit or anything because it's pitch black. And he goes in, he sees it with this heat vision targeting system, sees his Valiant and shoots him. And then goes in and checks, you know, his body, and through his RoboVision sees that he's deceased. That's it. That's your showdown. That's your final showdown with the villain and the good. That's your revenge. That's your revenge sequence. Can you imagine seeing shit like that in The Punisher or some fucking crap? Like, literally. Like, you just shot fucking John Travolta in the head, like, just shot him and then just walked away. Oh, he's dead. That's what I was fucking saying. I mean, this shit is bullshit. Fucking shit. I mean, that is so fucking pathetic. Nothing, just like this movie, nothing leaves no impact. There's no gravitas. There's no power. There's nothing to that fucking scene. And it's a nothing villain, and this whole movie doesn't have a villain. It doesn't have a villain that really is really, hey, you know, someone you can root for or be afraid of. There's no one like that in this movie. You have Valiant, who's fucking useless, doesn't do jack shit, gets shot like a bitch. RoboCop walks away. I mean, excuse my friend, RoboCock. I messed up. RoboCock walks away, got his gun, and, you know, he finds this gun and finds that there's fingerprints on it, which leads to these, you know, corruption within the police department. Aha, another cliche. And he goes in, and so you have that. That's your fucking showdown. Compared to RoboCop in the original film, you know, where he's got the, you know, Baruchel, the steel mills, like, sayonara, RoboCop. And he's like, data spike. Ugh, right to the fucking neck. Compared to that scene, this shit's bullshit. Even the confrontations that RoboCop had with Kane in fucking RoboCop 2. This shit was this villain in this film was just as memorable as fucking Daggett from McDaggett from fucking RoboCop 3. Yeah, Evil Steve Martin was just about as memorable as the fucking Valiant guy in this. Great. Whatever, that's your villain. And then Michael Keaton, oh, he's your villain? What? He's only because the script says he should be a villain, like during the last 15 minutes of the film. Because this is a shitty script. You want even more proof why this is a shitty script? Okay, you have a scene where he goes in and he goes to the police precinct, finds the corrupt cops. This is a line you heard in the trailer, which is fucking cringe-inducing then. It's even worse seeing on the big screen, where you have Lewis and Murphy's in the room with these corrupt cops, and he's like, good cop, bad cop. Bad cop, RoboCop. And I'm like, what the fuck? So fucking lame. Then RoboCop sits down and he shoots one of the corrupt cops because he tried to shoot him, but he shoots him first. This is fucking Han Solo. Well, RoboCop shot first. And then you have a scene where he like points the gun at the other guy, almost makes him shit his pants. So he gives information that reveals that, oh, Dean, Officer Dean, the chief of police, Chief Dean, she's a dirty bitch and she's in on it. And now he's gonna put his gun at her and right at her head. And he's like, you know, tell me, confess. Confess. And it sounds like fucking Batman. Confess. And then he gets shut down remotely. Pressing the button. Some badass. Just press one button and your titanium ass is... So now RoboCop is shut down. Because, you know, the real plan all along, as I was saying, is Keaton was only using RoboCop to manipulate the public to appealing to Dreyfus Act so he can make oodles of cash on the, you know, the new Ed 209s and all this kind of shit. So, Now you lead to, now he wants to kill him. He's going to kill him, get rid of him, because he's got what he wants. So Gary Oldman realizes this, lets him go. Now, and also during all this, Abbie Cornish, she goes out in the public to the press and says, OCP is not allowing me to see my husband. And this, upsets Keaton, of course, so he gets a meeting with her and probably takes her hostage. Takes her to the top of the tower like some cliche fucking action movie, which is pretty much what this is. Every action movie cliche in the book is in this movie. Every dramatic cliche in the book is in this movie. That's why I feel the drama in this movie doesn't work, because it's so fucking cliched and ineffective. Because it feels artificial to me. None of the actors make me actually feel for them. Because Abbie Cornish, for one thing, is a one-note character, no character development. She's just a crying, emotional woman. Oh my God! Ah. And Joel Kinnaman has fucking marbles in his mouth most of the time. He doesn't show any emotion, even when he's Murphy, and doesn't show it when he's RoboCop. So I don't know what the fuck the difference is between Murphy and RoboCop, because it seems exactly the fucking same in this movie. So, or I should say RoboCock, of course. It's RoboCock. That's what this movie is. It's RoboCock. So, now you get into the climax. Just a shitty climax. It's over and done with, just like that. Like all the fucking action sequences in this film. Drives in on his fucking motorbike. His fucking Kamen Rider motorcycle. Drives in up to the OCP headquarters. Some security guards give him shit. Says what he thinks is a badass line and tases the guy in the head. That's your badass. That's your badass, cybernetic, fucking awesome badass. Shooting somebody in the fucking head with a taser. Oh, fuck. What a fucking badass. Fuck that shit. RoboCop in the original movie, shoot the fucker in the dick. Or punch somebody out a fucking window. Just shit like that. Not fucking tase somebody in the fucking head. What kind of pussy-ass bullshit is that? Such a pussy fucking move. I tased you in the face! Ha! What is this, a hangover? Fuck. So, pussy cop, RoboCock, tases some dude in the head. Thinks he's so badass. I wish RoboCop, from RoboCop 2, could just leap off a building, jump on his fucking back, rip off RoboCock's head, and just smash it on the fucking, ground. Goodbye. He has a brain, like Kane. Just put him out of his fucking misery. Put us all out of our misery and get rid of this fucking poser. Poser cop. Plastic cop, rubber cop, RoboCock. So anyway, he gets to the climax. He goes, you see the scene in the trailer, in the clip online, where he drives his motorcycle through the window and plays Spider-Man on top of the Ed 209s. And they changed the sound mix, thankfully, so he doesn't sound like he's grunting like a bitch in heat. But still, it doesn't leave much of an impact, because the camera's shaking and editing is shitty, and CGI Ed 209 straight out of a fucking PlayStation game, PlayStation 4 game, and no suspense, no anything. And I don't give a shit about Joel Kinnaman at this point. Anyway, so who gives a fuck? And he's getting shot to shit. And he actually falls off off a balcony with Ed 209. It lands on his fucking arm. And he just from that short fall, it did not look like it was that high. He cracks his visor, because it's made out of fucking plastic. So then the fucking Ed 209 lands in his arm, and he has to shoot it off. So the rest of the movie, you see RoboCock with one arm. Like, oh! And then he runs into Jackie Haley, who's like, run! Run! And shoots him with a taser. To get revenge. And then he gets shot by Lewis, who shows up to help out RoboCock. And they both shoot each other at the same time. Which then is repeated again in the climax between RoboCock and Sellers. Great. Fantastic. Fucking wonderful. Deja vu. Of the worst kind. Then he gets up, RoboCock, then I gotta save my family, my wife and kid. You have a decent scene where Keaton actually is intimidating, where he says, I don't care about you, I could shoot you, and then I could shoot your wife and kid. Doesn't matter to me. And then he ends up, RoboCock's trying to arrest him, and it's like the same fucking shit you saw in the first movie, but just a different era and a different script, and just rearranging the words. Instead of calling it Directive 4, they call it a red asset. So he's like, what? Arrest me? Oh wait, no, you can't, because I'm red asset. Can't arrest a red asset. Can you? Because you're just a robot. Which then when he said, you're just a robot, reminded me of fucking Prometheus with that fucking line. Like, you're just a robot. Just so great. Remind me of that fucking piece of shit. Fantastic. So, remind me of another movie that pissed me the fuck off. Well, I'm already watching a movie that's pissing me the fuck off. So, anyway. You're just a robot. He's gonna shoot him. And then he's like, somehow he's able to override the system shutdown, which doesn't shut him down fast enough. And he lifts one arm up, his one remaining arm, and RoboCock says, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Shoots Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton shoots him. And then, yeah, because it's deja vu. Like I said, the same shit you saw earlier, where Jackie Haley shoots Lewis, and Lewis shoots him. Same shit you see in the climax. And then, fucking lazy ass bullshit. Then camera pans out, the family goes around, RoboCock's fucking, inert whatever body laying on his fucking ass, because he's fucking bitch. He already lost his fucking arm. He got his ass kicked more. This RoboCock motherfucker gets his ass kicked more times than Robert John Burke did in RoboCop 3. Seriously. He doesn't spend as much of his time on his ass like Burke did in RoboCop 3, but RoboCop 3 wasn't dismantled. RoboCop and RoboCop 3 wasn't dismantled as easily. Shit, it looks like a fucking toy. It looks like you just get fucking fragile ass motherfucker who fucking falls off a balcony and cracks his fucking faceplate open. They even said 50 caliber rounds will pierce his armor easily. So like some fucking great ass armor. It takes like a grenade or something stronger than a fucking 50 caliber round to take out RoboCop in the first 3 films. Takes like the Cobra assault cannon. Here it's like a 50 caliber round could do it. People are shooting automatic rifles at this fucking guy in the warehouse scene where he's going after Valiant, and he's getting shot to shit. Getting cracks on his fucking armor and fucking shit. And why the fuck isn't his hand broken by now? With all the shit he does, falling around, jumping around, doing all this shit. His hand isn't superhuman. His hand isn't artificially, enhanced with cybernetics and shit. So he should have a broken, busted up fucking hand, or it should have been shot off by now. Because there's no fucking point for him to have a human hand. It's not even explained why he has a human hand in this movie. What do we expect from screenplay from Joshua Zitmeyer? Zitmeyer. Fucking Zit wrote this script. Anyway. Now you get to see the hero shot where they show the gray suit get put back on, and he's now back to the gray suit. But hey fans of the British movie, hey, you don't like the black suit? Here's the gray suit. You know what? That's fucking too little, too fucking late. Because you know what? The majority of the fucking action sequences, when RoboCock is doing anything, when he's fighting any human being and not shooting fucking robots and doing like a fucking hostage scene with fucking If Only Had a Heart in the background, he's wearing black. He's in the black suit. So it's not, I heard somebody say in a screenplay, like, in the end, he gets back in his gray suit. Yeah, he does, but he doesn't do it in the climax, which is what I thought was going to happen, which might have been kind of cool. And they had an option where they could have done that. He's all fucked up. He's missing an arm. They have the old suit in display in the office of Raymond Sellers. Maybe he goes in there, and Gary Oldman helps put him inside the suit. Yeah, it's preposterous. Who gives a shit? It makes more sense that it's a cool idea. Now he has both arms. Now he can fucking kick ass. That'd be cool. No, still wearing his black suit, fucking one-armed, ball-licking, dick-sucking RoboCock. Great. So, anyway, goes in, and you see that scene where his family comes in, and they're reunited, and he's in the gray suit, and the door's closed behind him. The door's closed in front of him like a fucking cliche. And then the movie ends with another fucking Sam Jackson segment of the Novak element. And he's being all patriotic and shit. And he swears. He says, motherfucker beep, but he doesn't say motherfucker because you had to beep it out. And then he says, what a bunch of horse beep. But he doesn't say shit because we gotta beep it out because it's PG-13 because we're pussies. We don't got fucking shit, man. We don't have balls. So, yeah, that's how the movie ends. A patriotic fucking message by Sam Jackson, which is fucking shitty. Another segment of the Novak element, a show that needs to be fucking canceled. And then he, you know, and then you hear the RoboCop theme. Again, in that fucking stupid ass show, and then the movie ends with "I fought the law," and the law won. It ends with the fucking "Fought the Law" by The Clash. Shitty fucking choice of song at the end. Such a fucking terrible film. If you like it, cool. Be my guest. As in a comparison to the original movie, it fails miserably. Doesn't even hold a candle. Doesn't even come close to being as good. As its own film, it fails equally as bad, as my opinion. It's boring. It's lackluster. It's lame. It has no energy. It feels lifeless. It feels listless. The screenplay sucks. The acting, you know, from the lead is bland and wooden. The supporting cast doesn't really do much to save the movie. Sam Jackson is just annoying. His character is just part of a show I don't give a flying fuck about. Gary Oldman's the only one that's at all decent, but he's just there to spout a lot of exposition and fucking technobabble. Michael Keaton is inconsistent, and that's was a surprise to me. There are scenes where he should be serious and he's acting like it's a fucking comedy. Abbie Cornish is the crying emotional woman, and, you know, I don't blame her. She didn't have much to work with. So, but I guess she did an okay crying emotional woman, but she didn't really add anything. It didn't really make me feel that much, or wasn't very memorable. The action sequences suck. They're blinking, you miss some action sequences. They're shot so fucking quick and fast and with shaky cam that you don't even know what the fuck happened most of the time. And if you do, it's just blink and you miss it, and there's no impact to them at all. The characters, when you have the villains, there are no true villains in this movie, and that's a fucking waste of space. It's really, honestly, one of the biggest problems of this film. There's not a true villain for RoboCop. It's just some fucking pansy ass fucking might as well, like I said, might as well be fucking wine cellar fucking Walmart door greeting motherfucker who's like, oh, there's no personality, there's nothing, and he gets shot in one shot. You don't even see him get shot by RoboCock. You just see the heat vision signature get shot. Great. Wonderful. No impact, nothing at all. And Michael Keaton, I'm just a villain now because the script needs me to be a villain because we're fucking lazy and we're running out of time and we need to do reshoots because we have to change the ending because it didn't do very well, I guess maybe in screenings or something, and people didn't like it, so we got to change it now. We got to shoot it in Vancouver. We got to shoot it in Toronto. They shot in Vancouver, BC, and it shows. It looks like Vancouver, BC. It looks like Vancouver, Canada. It doesn't look like fucking Detroit. And yeah, there's some things that are topical, like the drones and shit. But like I said in the first part of the review, our rating would have helped this film immensely. I would even be able to deal with Joel Kinnaman if he actually had scenes where he kicked ass and wasn't doing embarrassing ass fucking pussy ass shit like shooting people in the face with tasers. So, yeah, shitty excuse for an action movie, shitty fucking drama, a shitty fucking movie. Did nothing to make me believe that it needed to be made. $130 million. Didn't even look like $130 million at points. Looked like maybe 60, if that. And, yeah. No, I did not like RoboCock. I don't like RoboCock in my face. I don't like RoboCock up my ass. I don't like RoboCock anywhere near my vicinity. So get the fuck away from me! So anyway, yeah, I'm done with this movie. I'm fucking done with RoboCock. No more RoboCock! Hollywood, stay away from RoboCop. Do not get your grubby, cum-stained, cocaine-covered fingers on this character, on RoboCop, ever again, because you're gonna fuck it up. You brought him back from the dead. You dug up RoboCop from out of his fucking grave. You brought him back to life. You brought him back online only to kill him again. Instead of bringing him back to his R-rated roots, you fucked up. You made him for the kids. And that's a fucking mistake. And I just... hate that had to happen again to this character. If it hadn't happened enough already, they had to do it again. Because that's how it's all about the money. Money, 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 money. So anyway, in conclusion, will I rate this fucking piece of shit? I'm not giving a fucking rating. Doesn't deserve one. Well, I guess maybe for prosperity's sake, a half a star. That's for Gary Oldman and some of the effects. So, anyway, I think I'll end this with this. This is a paraphrase of the eloquent words of Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. This is in reference to the producers and the people who made this RoboCop remake. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses like Paul Verhoeven, and you wrapped it up and you're selling it, selling it, selling it. Your producers were preoccupied with whether or not they could remake RoboCop, that they didn't stop and think if they should. That right there. Perfect. Didn't stop and think if they should. And in my opinion, they shouldn't.